welcome to Badminton Unlimited. The recently concluded BLIBLIi Indonesia Open 2019 lived up to expectations once again. We have the action and reactions all packed into today's show.
The biggest point for them and the biggest mistake for us.
And the story of Indonesia's great Susi Susanti makes it to the big screen.
Satu kebahagiaan tersendiri buat saya karena saya dipercaya untuk kisahnya diangkat menjadi satu film.
The big guns were out in full force at the BLIBLIi Indonesia Open 2019. This HSBC BWF Super 1000 event was a perfect test of their strength and form as they entered the second half of the season. First round and the Astures Senayan was filled to capacity with thousands of boisterous fans. Women's singles fifth seed Persala V Sindhu began shakily, dropping her first game in 7 meetings against Aya Ohori before regaining her composure to avoid a disappointing early exit. While Yonyx US Open semi-finalist Michelle Lee overcame jet lag to avenge last year's defeat at this event to the 2017 runner-up Sung Ji Hyun. China's top 2 men's singles players also survived early scares. Fifth seed Chen Long took an hour and 32 minutes to record his 12th win over 31-year-old Tommy Sugiyato. The Chinese camp was once again on the edge of their seats after Shi Yuqi dropped the opening game to HS Pranoy. The second seed eventually prevailed 22-20 in the deciding game after squandering 2 match points. Thailand's top mixed doubles pair Dechapol Puavaranukroh and Sapsari Tiratanachai were surprisingly shown the door by their compatriots Nipitphon Puangphuaphuet and Savitri Amitrapai. A loss of concentration at 16-all in the third game cost the fourth seed the match. Round 2 saw an exodus of seeded players with 5 coming from the men's singles draw. The biggest casualty was the top seed, Kento Momota, who made some uncharacteristic errors in losing to the 29th ranked Huang Yuxiang of China. There were mixed fortunes for China though, as 3 of their title contenders crashed out. Shi Yuqi was forced to pull out after rolling heavily on his ankle 12 minutes into the match. Despite Chen Long's effort in saving 3 match points, 21-year-old Li Zijia held his ground to win the decider 22-20.
At first, I didn't expect I could win the ex-Olympic Chen Long, ex-Olympic medalist Chen Long, but I tried very hard today. Yeah, I think it's about the fighting spirit. I think the fire. I want to win this match. Yeah.
Lin Dan fought back from losing a tight first game but had nothing left in the tank in the third to challenge Cho Tian-chen. And sadly for the home fans, 7th seed Anthony Sinasuka Ginting was outplayed by Kantafon Wangcharoen of Thailand. In women's singles, an inspired Beiwen Zhang recorded her second win in 9 meetings against 6th seed He Bingjiao.
I also didn't expect that much, so I just I keep going 1 point by 1 point. I didn't even think I need to win or something. No, I didn't think about it.
7th seed Ratchanok Intanon struggled initially with the pace of Gregoria Mariska Tunjung, but the Indonesians' inconsistency handed the match to a delighted Intanon. Another 2 seeds fell in the doubles discipline. Home favourites and 5th seed Gracia Poli and Apriyani Rahayu lost to the spirited Koreans Kim So-young and Kong Hee-young in an entertaining encounter.
At the end of the third set, they play, confidently than us. So I guess that's the biggest point and the biggest point for them and the biggest mistake for us.
While the men's second seeds Takeshi Kamura and Keigo Sonoda lost to their junior compatriots Takuro Hoki and Yugo Kobayashi in a one-sided 37-minute contest.
そうですね、日本人同士ということで、多少はやりにくさはあるんですけど、そこで自分たちは先輩なので、そこ先輩の意地を見せれたらよかったんですけど、残念でした。
Tai Tzu Ying was the first to advance to the women's singles quarterfinals. The number 1 seed toppled her nemesis Ratchanok Intanon in a highly charged 64-minute clash.
我觉得今天感觉算是进入状况比较快吧，就是自己一开始没有太多的失误，然后可能10几分之后才比较稳定一点，对，然后那时候就提醒自己要多一点耐心吧，对。
Tai would meet Akane Yamaguchi in the semi-finals. The Japanese met with some resistance from Nichayon Jindapol in the opening game, but ran away in the second. Having been taken to 3 games in her previous matches, Prasala v Sindhu made light work of Nozomi Okuhara, 21-14, 21-7 the final score.
I think there were really very less of unforced errors from my side, and I think definitely I'm happy about it, and I hope I do tomorrow as well.
Pre-tournament favourite Chen Yufei was tested by Bai Wenjiang. A few quick rallies and 3 consecutive points at the end ensured her victory. Marcus Finaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sycamore needed just 31 minutes to set up a semi-final meeting with Li Junhui and Liu Yuchen in men's doubles. Coincidentally, the Chinese also needed the same length of time to dispatch their teammates He Jiting and Tang Qiang. Mohammad, Ahsan and Hendra Setiawan progressed in contrasting fashion. The veterans had to save a match point before winning the clutch decider 22-20 against the 5th seed Hiroyuki Endo and Yuta Watanabe.
Pastinya bersyukur ya, alhamdulillah bisa lolos. Marka yang krusial ya, tadi udah sempat leading jadi hampir kalah, tapi alhamdulillah puji Tuhan kita bisa menang.
Meanwhile, the unseeded Takuru Hoki and Yugo Kobayashi continued their fairy tale run with a straight games victory over 6th seeds Fajar Alfian and Mohammad Rian Ardianto.
昨日園田中村選手に勝ってベスト8だったんですけど、やっぱり今日は自分の思ったようなプレーがあまり出せなかったので、やっぱり今のところは昨日の方が嬉しくて、やっぱまだまだ上を目指せるのかなと思います。
Women's doubles top seeds Mayo Matsumoto and Wakana Nagahara were completely outplayed by Lee So-hee and Shin Seung-chan of Korea. Despite the shock exit, Japan's 2nd and 3rd seeds were still in the hunt, along with the All England Open champions Chung Ching-chen and Jia Yifan. Cho Tian-chen was the only seed left in the last 4 of the men's singles draw. The Chinese Taipei ace had to draw on all his reserves to overcome a poor head-to-head record against Indonesia's Jonathan Christie.
Tapi cukup disayangkan di set kedua sudah leading 16-12, tapi saya tidak bisa memanage poin dengan baik, jadinya tadi beberapa kali miss dan Cho Tian-chen mengambil kesempatan itu.
Kantapon Wangcharuan continued his dream run with yet another cool-headed display, beating Huang Yuxiang, the man who disposed of Kento Momota. Another surprise semi-finalist was Hong Kong's Wong Wing Ki. The 29-year-old had little trouble against compatriot Ng Ka-long, who fell ill the morning of the match.
Yeah, it's very fantastic and excellent. I can imagine I can enter the semi-final because I'm the reserve to the main draw.
In the last quarter-final match, Anders Antonsen weathered an early assault by Li Zijia to dominate from 14-all in the first game.
The first half of the first set was really tough, yeah, suddenly he cracked, and that was good for me.
China's top 2 seeds in the mixed doubles continued their strong run into the semi-finals without dropping a game. Standing in their way were 2 Malaysian pairs. World number 16 Tan Kian Meng and Lai Pei Jing capitalized on the Adcock's loss of concentration to clinch the last 6 points of the decider, while Chun Peng Soon and Go Liu Ying reversed the shock defeat to Tantawi Ahmad and Winnie Octavina Kandau in Birmingham earlier this year.
The second set, we turn into their rhythm, so we feel uncomfortable. But luckily that on the third set, that we changed some tactical, yeah.
As one of the most highly anticipated tournaments on the HSBC BWF World Tour, this year's BLIBLIi Indonesia Open provided the perfect backdrop for the promotion of the film Susi Susanti, Love All. To be released later this year, it recounts the incredible journey of one of the finest badminton talents Indonesia has ever produced.
Sebetulnya mungkin saya menjadi satu kebanggaan dan juga kebahagiaan buat saya dan satu kehormatan karena saya tidak semua atlet bisa difilmkan. Jadi ini merupakan satu kebahagiaan tersendiri buat saya karena saya dipercaya untuk kisahnya diangkat menjadi satu film.
It's a story about a badminton prodigy, Susi Susanti, and her love for badminton, her love for her country, Indonesia, what actually made her who she is right now, being the most legendary badminton champion in Indonesia for all over time, actually in the world. So that story, the journey, the challenges that she had to conquer in order to make her who she is right now.
Wow, I'm so excited, because I think Susi Susanti is the one and only living legend in Indonesia, and I think it's a privilege for me to play as a living legend, Susi Susanti.
Laura adalah artis yang luar biasa yang sudah mendapatkan Piala Citra dan dia bisa menjiwai dan bisa menjadi saya pada saat film itu. Jadi betul-betul bahwa pemilihan Laura sebagai pemeran utama Susi itu betul-betul kayaknya pas sekali. Pada saat saya melihat filmnya tidak beda dengan apa yang saya rasakan pada saat saya main di situ.
Kalau mengenai filmnya, mungkin bagi generasi muda itu adalah salah satu hal yang positif ya, sangat positif daripada kita jalan keluar ke mall apa kemana kan, mendingan kita berlatih bulu tangkis itu kan membangun kebanggaan berdiri kita sendiri juga.
Harapan saya untuk film ini tentunya film ini bisa bermanfaat untuk generasi muda di mana mungkin banyak orang melihat bahwa melihat saya hanya sukses-suksesnya aja menjadi juara, tapi bagaimana perjuangan, bagaimana proses, bagaimana rintangan-rintangan, ada suka, ada duka yang mungkin orang tidak tahu. Dan harapan saya bahwa film ini bisa menjadi inspirasi, menjadi semangat untuk generasi muda untuk mencapai sukses. Tentunya dibutuhkan satu perjuangan. Perjuangan ini tentunya juga bisa dilakukan oleh generasi muda dan tentunya bisa berprestasi juga. Kalau ada kemauan pasti bisa.
Up next, pressure builds as we enter the business end of the BLIBLIi Indonesia Open 2019.
打的就是比较可惜吧，特别是在第一局。
Plus, we look ahead to the next event, the Daihatsu Yonyx Japan Open 2019. We started with 32 in each discipline, and after 4 days of intense competition at the BLIBLIi Indonesia Open 2019, the field was narrowed down to 4. The men's doubles semi-finals were played in a deafening atmosphere as the partisan crowd cheered on their home favourites. Marcus Fernaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sycamore barely put a foot wrong as they destroyed the world number 2's Lee Junhui and Liu Yuchen in 29 minutes.
Totally orchestrating affairs from the off.
我觉得还是首先把节奏慢下来吧，因为他们毕竟还是以快为主，然后包括这个场馆可能大家观众啊这种给你的这种感觉，所以说会给你一些无形的一些压力吧。
An upset was in the making as the underdogs Takuro Hoki and Yugo Kobayashi breezed through the first game against veterans Mohammad Ahsan and Hendra Setiawan. The Japanese then came close in the next 2 games, levelling the scores in the closing stages, but both times the Indonesians' defence came to their rescue.
Utter relief on their faces in a match of lightning quick exchanges.
In a seesaw battle, Korea's #1 women's doubles duo Lee So-hee and Shin Seung-chan drew first blood. But their opponents Misaki Matsutomo and Ayaka Takahashi grew stronger as the match progressed to reach their 4th final of the year.
Japanese delight, Misaki Matsutomo and Ayaka Takahashi.
일단 4강에서 졌지만 올해 들어 첫 성적인 부분도 있는 거고 그 부분으로 인해 저희도 어느 정도 자신감은 좀 찾은 것 같아서 그 부분에서 좀 좋은 것 같아요.
The Japanese pair were joined in the final by their compatriots Yuki Fukushima and Sayaka Hirota. The second seeds had it easier against Chen Qing-chen and Jia Yifan, winning 21-14, 21-12.
It will be an all-Japanese women's doubles final, the second seed safely through.
The first women's singles semi-final was a lopsided affair. An unwell Tai Tzu Ying was helpless against Akane Yamaguchi, who didn't take her foot off the pedal as she sought to end a 3-match losing streak to the top seed.
我觉得自己今天就是下场的时候的身体状况可能没有这么好吧，在打的时候觉得自己比较没有办法集中精神。
In the bottom half of the draw, Prasala v Sindhu overcame bad starts in both games to defeat the reigning All-England Open champion Chen Yufei. The Indian number one fought back from a 14-18 deficit in the opening game and from love 4 down in the second to reach her first final of the year.
打的就是比较可惜吧，特别是在第一局，第二局可能对方就是越打越兴奋，所以我整个可能会就比较困难一些。
The first men's singles semi-final was a fascinating battle. The first 2 games were so tight that neither Cho Tian-chen or Kantapon Wangcharawan had more than a 3-point lead. A deciding game was inevitable, and it was the more experienced Cho who managed to subdue the Thai's late charge.
Second time of asking, and the number 4 seed, Cho Tian-chen, will tomorrow contest his first ever final.
Yeah, he is so good today. Many lucky shots. His skill and power spread are so good. But we push each other, and that's a good match. Yes.
Cho would meet Anders Antonsen in the final. The European Games champion had come through a tricky tie in straight games against the reserve player Wong Wing-ki in difficult conditions.
Converts on his first match point opportunity.
I think he played a good game. It was the first time we played each other, so I struggled a little bit to figure him out in the beginning, but after I got the first set under the belt, then I felt I played better, so yeah, I'm really satisfied.
It was China versus Malaysia in the semi-finals of the mixed doubles competition, and as expected, the higher-ranked Chinese prevailed. Second seeds Wang Yi-liu and Huang Dongping met with a bit more resistance against Chen Peng-soon and Go Liu-ying, being pushed to 22-20 in the second game. On the other hand, the formidable Zheng Siwei and Huang Ya-qiong were more clinical in their 21-12, 21-16 victory over Tan Qianmeng and Lai Peijing.
感觉开心嘛，然后但进决赛不是我们的最终目标，我们还是希望能够突破一下自己，能够冲击一下这个冠军嘛。
It was finals day at the BLIBLIi Indonesia Open 2019, and as one of the big 3 Super 1000 tournaments on the HSBC BWF World Tour, the action did not disappoint. An all-Japanese showdown was the curtain raiser when Rio Olympic champions Misaki Matsutomo and Ayaka Takahashi walked onto court to take on compatriots and defending champions Yuki Fukushima and Sayaka Hirota. The world number 2s were off to a flyer after grabbing the first game. Matsutomo and Takahashi, however, tried to respond with a stronger performance in the second, but buckled as soon as their opponents picked up their tempo. It ended 21-16, 21-18 as Fukushima and Hirota retained their Indonesia Open crown.
そうですね、去年は去年の大会で、今年は今年の、5試合戦っていく中で苦しい試合もたくさんあったんですけど、それを乗り越えての優勝で本当に嬉しく思います。
2ゲーム目点数を離された時は少し上げすぎてしまっていた部分もあったので、自分たちからも攻めの形を作るように変えました。
Another Japanese featured in the women's singles final. World number 4 Akane Yamaguchi battling for the title against Prasala v Sindhu. Having lost her last 4 encounters with the Indian, Yamaguchi was eager to break that losing streak. Recovering from Posala's strong start, the 22-year-old took the first game and continued her rhythm in the second game to finish the match 21-15, 21-16.
インドネシアでは初めて優勝できたのでとても嬉しいです。シンドゥ選手はスマッシュとか攻撃が強いので、そこを、相手に攻撃させないような、ラリーにできたのが良かったと思います。
She played well and it was good, but then when it was going on equal, I think I made a couple of mistakes. But yeah, I mean, if I could have won the first game where I was leading like 2 points, if I could have maintained that, maybe it could have been a bit different.
It was a clash of the top 2 seeded pairs in mixed doubles, with number 1 seeds Zheng Xiwei and Huang Yaqiong taking on national teammates Wan Yi Liu and Huang Dongping. Zheng and Huang did not take long to get into the groove, seizing the first game easily. Their opponents tried to make a comeback early in the second, but had to concede to the superiority of the world number ones after 31 minutes, 21-13, 21-18, the final score.
就非常开心，因为也是第一次获得冠军，所以说现在很开心。
我觉得可能说是我们之间，可能因为其实都很熟悉嘛，可能说我们这边的一些准备的一些战术可能更成功一些。
Chasing his first Super 1000 title was Cho Tien-chen, and the Chinese Taipei player had to battle valiantly to get the better of Denmark's Anders Antonsen in what was an absorbing men's singles final. Cho drew first blood, but Antonsen restored parity in a topsy-turvy end to the second game. Refusing to let his head drop, Cho used every ounce of energy to go on the offensive and claim a well-deserved 21-18, 24-26, 21-15 victory.
I just every shot I put back. I just one thing. I just no another thing. I just want to push him and smash. Do anything I can do, and I'm so happy I can win this one. And it's a great match. Antonsen is a great player too.
I think we were both really tired. Yeah, and I had just, when he laid down, I just wanted to lay down as well and fall asleep. Yeah, we was so tired, both of us, I guess. So yeah, that was it.
Providing a fitting end to the day was men's doubles, with Marcus Fernaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sycamore facing Mohammad Ahsan and Hendra Setiawan in the first all-Indonesian final at the Astora since 2005. Ahsan and Setiawan did well to cope with the speed of their younger compatriots in the opening game, but Gideon and Sycamore managed to stay on top. The world number ones were relentless in their attacks to triumph in straight games. The final score was 21-19, 21-16, wrapping up another spectacular showcase of the BLIBLIi Indonesia Open.
I'm feeling very happy right now because it's our home and we can be champion again here. It's such a pleasure to be champion. It's really hard for us to play the first set because they keep controlling the game. They keep guessing which side I want to hit, but we keep focused and we just give our best.
In the third tournament in as many weeks, the HSBC BWF World Tour rolls into Tokyo, the City of Lights. Here's a 90 seconds preview of the Daihatsu Yonyx Japan Open 2019. The first Japan Open was held in 1977, and this year marks the 40th edition of this Super 750 event. Host Japan has at least one seeded player or pair in all 5 disciplines, with their women's doubles posing the strongest challenge. 4 out of the 8 seeded pairs are from Japan, with Maya Matsumoto and Wakana Nagahara leading the field. The Chinese combination of Chen Qingchen and Jia Yifan are not to be overlooked, given their 3 titles this season and a healthy win-loss record. Last year, Kenta Momota broke Japan's title drought in men's singles. This year, the home nation will be hoping for either of their Yonyx German Open 2019 finalists to repeat the feat. Takeshi Kimura and Keigo Sonoda are seeded second behind defending champions Marcus Fernaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo. The Indonesians conquerors in the Badminton Asia Championships 2019 final, Hiroyuki Endo and Yuta Watanabe, are seeded fifth, with 2 titles under their belts this season. Japan has triumphed twice in the women's singles, with Akane Yamaguchi and Nozomi Okuhara doing the honours in 2013 and 2015 respectively. The duo are seeded third and fourth and are in different halves of the draw. Okuhara is projected to meet top seed Tai Tzu Ying in the semi-finals, while Yamaguchi's likely opponent is the informed Chen Yufei. Be sure to follow the Daihatsu Yonyx Japan Open 2019 happening from the 23rd to the 28th of July and cheer on your favourite badminton stars. That's all we have for you this episode. Next week, we spend some time with the popular Jonathan Christie.
Mungkin itu dari fans, karena mereka yang memberi nama saya Jojo.
For the latest results, rankings, and news, you can visit our website, bwfbadminton.com. See you next week.